Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Esoteric Ramblings. I'm Jesse Arnold, and today I'm bringing you Monday Movies, Disney's Jungle Cruise. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Thanks for joining me here today. My name is Jesse Arnold, and here on Esoteric Ramblings, I just talk about stuff that I love and enjoy, or at least things that I watch or read or take in that I hope I enjoy. This week is Monday Madness, and it's Monday Movies, so today I'm going to review Disney's latest offering, the Jungle Cruise movie starring The Rock, Emily Blunt, Edgar Ramirez, Jack Whitehall, Jesse Plemons, Paul Giamatti, Veronica Falcone, and quite a few other characters, or actors, I should say. And it is directed by... where'd the name go? Jaume Colette Serra. I don't know if I tried to look up how to pronounce that before I said it. So, which I'm familiar with some of the movies he's directed and worked on in other capacities, but I think Unknown, I think, is the only one I've actually watched. So based on some of the other movies in his the director's filmography, I was kind of surprised to see that that's who they picked to do this. And you know what? I'm just going to say it here. I think he did a fantastic job. So here's to me, or shame on me for pigeonholing a director based on the other movies they do. But if that's what a lot of their movies look to be like, it seems like that's what they like to be involved in. So that said, we're going to dive right into this, talk about a little bit about it without getting into spoilers, but I will get into spoilers later. I'll put up a warning card before we get to there. So Jungle Cruise is like Pirates of the Caribbean in that it's not a big intellectual property with like a history of stories. It's not an existing pantheon of characters like Marvel or Star Wars or anything like that. And so I just thought it was really fun. I always liked the Jungle Cruise. I've been on it. I was on it when I was 8 years old in Walt Disney World in Florida, and then again when I was about 27, 28. And I've been to Africa a few times, South Africa a few times, and I love animals. I love wildlife, and I like that safari adventure jungle cruise feel. So when I saw that they were doing this movie, and a little bit of an eye roll, like, oh, they're doing another one of their rides. But I was also really excited because I, for one, really enjoyed the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. And this looked like it was going to be of a similar flavor and style to those. And so I got really excited. Plus, I really like Emily Blunt and The Rock. And so seeing them pair up in a movie was an exciting pull for me to see the movie. And I just love those kind of period movie adventure type things where it's not a fate of the world invasion. Like, I love all those things, but it was nice to see something that was a little it was still a big epic adventure, but it was a little smaller, a little more character focused as to why they were after the goals they were after. And so yeah, I really enjoyed the movie. So I think the filmography, the set design, the score from James Newton Howard was great. And I'm gonna say this: if you consider it a spoiler, I'm sorry, but right at the beginning of the movie, I just thought this was really cool, and I synced up with my mom, and we watched it, her in Florida and me up here in Pennsylvania, and we started watching, and I'm trying to queue up, make sure we're synced at the same time, because we for some reason don't do the watch party thing, and I heard this guitar at the beginning, as the Disney logo is coming up in the castle and everything, and I was like that sounds like Nothing Else Matters by Metallica. And it kept going. I'm like, that totally is Nothing Else Matters by Metallica. And which is one of my favorite songs of theirs. And it just really, I was like, how did how did that happen? So I didn't look into how that happened, but it definitely is, and that theme comes back in the later in the movie at least one other place. But I just thought it was really unique to start a movie like this set in oh, I forget what year it was already. But to set it in that time period and then use that song, and it wasn't like the classic. I mean, the style of music, the instruments they chose felt like it fit in the time period. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting, and it got me even more excited for the movie as we got started. But again, I think The Rock delivers a great performance. I mean, he's The Rock. Not that he can't surprise you with his performances, and he does some surprising things in this, but I think he's a very talented actor. There is a certain all caps bold font to him, if you will, that is kind of a through line, but in most things I see him in. But I enjoy it. I enjoy seeing him in movies. So there's something about that I like. He reminds me of the action movies I grew up kind of not supposed to be watching as a kid in the 80s, that I'd sneak in at friends' houses or if I was with relatives or something. And I'm talking, the Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, all that, but there's something a little more. There's not that they're bad actors. I'm not saying that, but with the Rock's performances and the characters and the things he brings, even all the way back to the Scorpion King, there's a depth in those characters, and there's little nuances and little things that make him a little more human, a little more relatable. Even though there's nothing about The Rock that I personally can find that relatable, he does things with the characters that I really enjoy. So he does that with Frank, the riverboat captain, in this movie. There's Emily Blunt, who has become one of my favorite actresses over the last decade or so. I think I first saw her in, I can't remember which I saw first, if it was Devil Wears Prada or Dan in Real Life, which is a very small part. But I think this was one of the first movies that made me aware of her as an actress. And then I can't remember. There was one random one I saw on Netflix that was it was either an Irish or British film. I think it was. I'm gonna have to look it up now. But she's just an actress that I've really come to appreciate and enjoy her performances. Like, I think she can play such a variety of characters, from someone that you really don't care for, at least at the beginning of The Devil Wears Prada, to... Okay, that's what it was. It was My Summer of Love from 2007, which was a really interesting movie. So then... Yeah, I guess I would have seen Devil Wears Prada first, and then Dan in Real Life. Sunshine Cleaning was really great with her and Amy Adams. I just think, she's, in a way, Florence Pugh reminds me of her in that she takes such different characters. So you've got that assistant in Devil Wears Prada, and then you have her playing, young Queen Victoria in Young Victoria, and Wolfman, and all these other movies. And every time I see her in a new movie, I'm just more impressed with her performances, all the way down to, I think Looper was fantastic, and I really liked her in The Edge of Tomorrow, which was one of the reasons I was really hoping they would cast her as one of the Marvel superheroes. And when I learned that she was up for Black Widow and turned it down, it was a little disappointing, but hopefully, I know recent interviews and things have made it seem like she doesn't want to do the superhero movies or whatever, but I hope at some point we get to see her. I mean, I know the fan cast favorite for her and John Krasinski is Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman, and I would love that, but I'd love to see either of them join the Marvel Universe at some point as characters. That said, it was really A Quiet Place and Quiet Place Part 2 that has really solidified her as one of my favorite actresses. So going into this, knowing this was going to be a little more fun of an adventure, I was really excited because I like her. I like her comedic timing. Mary Poppins, I think she's wonderful in that. So with that said, I think I'm going to roll over into spoilers at this point. So if you don't want spoilers for Jungle Cruise, stop watching now and head out to the theater to see it. Or if you're not comfortable at the theater, you can get it on Disney Plus for the extra $29.99 premiere access. That said, I'm not paid by anybody to say these things. I'm just trying to let you know how it's available to you if you want to watch it. All right, stay tuned after the banner here for some spoilers. All right, this movie is everything I was hoping the adventure, quest vibe I got from the trailers would be. And I was really hoping that I wouldn't be completely bored with it, because I felt like the trailer gave a little bit too much away. And in some ways it did, but it was not enough to make me feel like I knew everything that was coming. There were quite a few surprises in this, and I won't get into every spoiler, but it was just a lot of fun to see this as, we meet Emily Blunt's character Lily at the beginning of the movie, and she's using her brother as a decoy to address this like English society of like scientists and journalists or whatever. And she's trying to sneak in and find this thing. So there's playful elements of Indiana Jones, a little bit of Evelyn Carnahan from the Mummy movies, and of course there's a peppering of Jack Sparrow in her daring and just kind of improvisational ways to handle these crazy situations she keeps getting into, which is a lot of fun. I love that kind of character who's like kind of always on their toes, whether they know they're doing it or it's all accidental. I find it enjoyable. I find it enjoying. But in the beginning, we get introduced to one of the film's antagonists, which I don't think I picked up on any of the trailers. Jesse Plemons, who's playing I don't know if they specifically say. They very clearly think he's supposed to be German, but he's got this slight, like this almost Afrikaner twinge. I mean, it's very faint to his accent that he's doing, and it makes him almost immediate. Not that Afrikaners are instantly dislikable, but like his character and the way you meet him. Obviously, they set him up as the bad guy very easily, but he's like almost instantly detestable, which is interesting because he's such a good character actor. I think from Game Night and Breaking Bad and several other things I've seen him in. So he was a surprise. I was not expecting him. So seeing him as the bad guy was a nice surprise. And there's the whole mythology of this tree. Was it the tears of the moon or the petals from this tree that have incredible healing properties? So unlike Jack Sparrow with a similar plot in one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, this is all about her wanting to find these things to help advance science and nature and science and health and healing for the scientific community and the world at large, not specifically for her glory. Like, she's not after it for the fortune and all this stuff. I do feel at times there's a few moments where the female empowerment, girl power vibe gets a little, I don't know what the right word is. It kind of overtakes some of the scenes, but I'm all for those types of characters. I mean, if you've watched my channel at all, you know that the those types of characters are characters that I like. Rogue is my favorite comic book character. Ahsoka Tano is my favorite Star Wars character. And I have no problem with those things. It's sometimes in certain movies or things, they it feels like they overcompensate or dial it in a little too hard in some moments. Not to the point where it spoils the movie for me. It's just, there's a couple lines here and there that are where there's enough other things throughout the movie that get the point across. So there are a couple moments like that in this movie, but it doesn't really take away from my enjoyment of it. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, that was supposed to be a this sort of situation, and like it's obvious that something different happened there. It's more of a filmmaking thing than a message thing that I don't like about it. But she's great. Her character's a lot of fun. I was really looking forward to seeing a character like this in a movie. So yeah, it was great. And then we have her brother, who is it's a little bit of the classic flip flop of the adventurer character guy who's not has no problem getting dirty and all this stuff, and then the sister or the wife or the fiance character who's always bringing tons of luggage and doesn't want to get dirty and all these things. So it's a little flip flop on that, and I find it really enjoyable. And it's not to the point where that's her brother's only characteristic. They do some really interesting things with her brother that I really enjoyed. So he gets put into some of those tropes, but he's not locked in completely to those tropes. But then we meet Frank, who's the Rock, this crazy brawny big guy on this riverboat, and he's like running scams on people and just all the things you've seen in the trailer. And these characters come together and they collide on this journey, and I like that dynamic where it's not even that they're a couple, but where it's that bickering friendship, like Pepper and Tony in the Iron Man movies, or like even back to one of the few sitcoms in the 90s I really liked, Mad About You, the way Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt would kind of go back and forth. I like that banter where you can go back and forth and you can almost listen to one of them and hear their side of the conversation, then watch it again and hear the other person's side. It's always fun. I like that storytelling device. So she has this arrowhead that she stole from the society at the beginning of the movie, and like that's a big key into finding where they need to go to find this flower. And Jesse Plemons and his Germans in their submarine are after them because he wants it to win the war and make Germany great. And then you've got the side story with Paul Giamatti's character, who's the guy who like kind of runs all the boats in town, and Frank owes him money, and all these fun little things. It's a lot of fun. It's a fun adventure. As you get into it, you learn a little bit more about the mythology, the lore behind this conquistador and his men that were after this thing, and why it got lost in this cartographer who made all these really detailed maps, but none of them actually show the location of where this tree is that these blossoms grow on. And then things get revealed as the story goes on, and they figure out some more things, and it's just a lot of fun. It's a fun wild roller coaster ride of an adventure, and it's Jungle Cruise, so it's based off of a ride. And the fact that they were able to make this much of a story out of a ride that's just supposed to simulate going down the wild African Congo River or wherever it's supposed to be. Like, this movie's clearly set in South America, but I believe there's like hippopotamuses and different things, so I feel like you're going down the Congo or something like that on the ride. It's been a while since I've been there to remember exactly what it is. And it does it's really nice. It ties things up. It tells a really fun story. And I really enjoyed it. I'm not going to get into all the details of how all the things play out, because if you get to watch it, I hope you get to enjoy some of the surprises that happen. The visual effects are fantastic. I think it all, it's a Disney movie. It's an adventure movie. The stakes aren't, they're not going to kill off the main characters, or are they? At least not in the first 2/3 of the movie. So it's one of those movies where you kind of know what you're in for, but there's a lot of fun surprises along the way, and I really like that about that. So I highly recommend this movie if you like Indiana Jones, if you like the Mummy movies. if you like stuff like the Pirates of the Caribbean and those sorts of adventure, you know, with elements of fantasy and supernatural tied to them, I definitely recommend checking this out. It is PG-13. It does have some intense, scary moments and things like that. I'd say it's strongly on par with the Pirates of the Caribbean movies with some of the effects and creature designs they do. Yeah, so it's definitely in that range. So, you know, I don't think there's anything else really in it that would be a warning for parents if anyone watching this has kids. You know your kids, you know how they react to stuff. It's got some frightening elements into it. Like I said, Pirates of the Caribbean, Indiana Jones, but jungle-based stuff is kind of where that comes from. So, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I can't wait for the hopefully sequel. That said, I'm really looking forward to seeing Suicide Squad this weekend. And what else? I feel like there's something else. I've rewatched Masters of the Universe Revelation again, and you know that just doubled down on what I really enjoyed about that show. I have a couple small nitpicky things here and there, things I would like to have seen differently, but overall I'm really happy with that show, and I cannot wait for the second half, and I hope it's just the first season of maybe not many, but at least a few seasons. I hope we get a few seasons of this show. And yeah, so Suicide Squad this weekend, so I might, since I'm doing, next week is going to be the typical Monday Madness with a toy run, or toy haul, I might do a Suicide Squad over the weekend if I can. I'm really want to go see Green Knight, so maybe I'll do a double feature review of those two if I get to see both of them this week. I've got some figures coming in today that I'm excited for, that will be in next week's Monday Madness. That said, I think I'm going to wrap this up here and give a high recommendation for Jungle Cruise. It was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to watching it again at least a couple more times before it comes out on video or home purchase, because since I did the Disney Plus, I try to watch it at least a couple of times to get my money's worth out of it. But yeah, so that's it for this video. Jungle Cruise gets a... I will buy the physical copy of this as well. I did enjoy it that much and look forward to behind the scenes and that sort of stuff that hopefully will be on the Blu-ray. All right, that's my ramble. I'm sticking to it, or something like that. Thanks for watching. I'll be back later this week with my comic haul review, which are now coming out on Thursdays, and my show review of Bad Batch and other things on Friday. So, yeah, we'll leave it there. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. If you want to, please hit the like and subscribe button. If you ever want to check out the stuff going on in the back of the room with the collection of collectibles, feel free to check out my Instagram page. It is justshelvit, just.shelv.it over on Instagram. And you might get a sneak peek of what the figures coming in today are before I do my full review next week, depending if they arrive on time today. All right, that's it. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. Ramble on.